Before we begin today's post-game press conference, Coach Tierney, why don't you give us your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, I mean, it must have been a fun game to watch. I know we're still fighting COVID. Hopefully, a lot of people tuned into our, the feed. They're really well coached. You talk about two neighbors in the backyard, or playing stickball or street hockey, and that's what it was. It was it was just going back and forth and back and forth, and we were fortunate to have the chalk at the end. They got a couple of guys that on that offensive end, they're powerful. Certainly we're thrilled about how we faced off. Our goalie stepped up. 16 saves from Mac today. Cut down on our turnovers in the second half, and we learned today. We took a step. I don't want to say we learned completely, but we took a step on how to manage a game, especially a game that was a little chaotic at times. So awfully proud of our guys. And hats off to Stony Brook. Well coached guys played their tails off, and wish them the best of luck on going the rest of the way.
We will now open the floor to questions. Please use the raise hand feature, and you will be called upon.
Gene Morris.
Hey, Coach. What was the biggest difference for you guys in the fourth quarter? I know obviously the face-offs were big, and you guys made some saves, but was there any kind of adjustments that you made to be able to pull ahead?
Well, we made some adjustments in the second half. It was more about us. We thought that we gave up, 2 or 3 goals on man up because of some of the penalties that were called, and then there was a couple of defensive lapses where we didn't slide to people we should have slid to in those scenarios. We also had a turnover and a clear, and we just missed a couple of possessions there. So it wasn't the adjustments at halftime were more for us and not about Stony Brook. Respectfully, it was things that we think that we could have done better. And then in the fourth quarter, there was a couple of times we were up. I want to say, I don't know, we were up 2, and I had called a timeout, and I just wanted to have a teaching moment and a coaching moment going, fellas, this possession is so important, because if you go up 3 here, you take a little wind out of their sails, right? 3 is a magic number. You're up 2, you get 1, you can win one off a face-off. You never know what can happen. You get 3, there's a little bit of an exhale, and we never got to that. And we actually went from up 2 to down 2. And for our guys to respond the way they did, awfully proud of them. Awfully proud of the guys on the sidelines. Let's give them a shout out. Due to COVID and safety precautions, we couldn't take those guys on the road, and those guys were awesome today. And I'm just so glad that they were in a Hofstra uniform and got that type of experience. So they were just the people behind me were just as important as the people in front of me in that fourth quarter.
Coach, you talked about 16 saves from Matt Gates, 3 games into his redshirt sophomore season. 3 starts for him. What can you say about Mac Gates coming into today?
Yeah, Mac was just steady Eddie today. I know he's downstairs in the locker room or on his way home, and he's thinking about the ones that he could have had, or feel like that the ones that he may have let the defense down. But he made a couple of point blankers in that flurry at one point where there was a guy that was just wide open inside. He made a save. It was a rebound, and then he made another save right after that. Plays like that, they're just a necessity in what we're doing, because now the defense starts to rally when they see him playing, and then they pick up their game. So again, I thought we tightened things up defensively. We certainly never want to give up 11 goals and a half, and we need to continue to do that. That happened to us against St. John's, and we'd like to have that one back. But again, it probably was needed for us to get to where we are today.
Hi, Coach Tierney. Jerry Brook Savers from the Hofstra Chronicle. Your team is currently sitting at 2-1 within the first 3 games of the season. Alex Concannon added 4 goals on the game, or the afternoon, that is. Any comments on the attack combination of him, Ryan Tierney, and Jess Linsky?
Yeah, I thought those guys, they got a little bit of a history together. Um, there's the chemistry. I guess the term is they talk without speaking, right? So that when you can talk without speaking, there's some chemistry there. And those guys, even if their backs are turned, they know where each other are. They support each other, and so proud of Alex Kincannon, what he did today. Justin Linsky, couple huge goals. Ryan had a game, and awfully proud. It's a pretty good attack when we get the ball and they can control the game and manage the game. Today was at times it was an opportunity for our offense to manage the game and allow our defense to get their feet back underneath them. Gene?
And then, Coach, I mean, obviously, you've seen Ryan do these things for forever, but he's creeping up on some milestones and some records now. Can you just talk a little bit about what it means to be able to see him doing those things, obviously, for your team and then together?
Yeah, I mean, Gene, this isn't about Ryan. I appreciate the question. I understand the milestones, but Ryan's milestone was to win today. Um, he's been such a good person to have as a on the team, and certainly as a son. He's been wonderful. He really has. And today, I know he had that one, big flashy goal where he jumped up and he shot faked it, and he got his defenseman to spin, and he put it in. All those things are wonderful, right? And maybe it's a sports center play today. Maybe it's not. It doesn't make a difference to Rye. It doesn't. I don't talk to him about any records here at Hofstra. It's not what we're about. We're right now, we talked before the season started, and the one record we want is a record to get back into the NCAA tournament. And in order to do that, we've got a tough conference to go forward. And with that, he was part of helping grow this team up today. And again, we've got another opportunity. We got to be smart tonight. We got another opportunity on Tuesday. Everything goes well with COVID and healing, and we get another chance to play against another team before our CAA starts to kick in. But awfully proud of Rye. I didn't know how many he had, to be honest with you, throughout the course of the game. It's irrelevant. We had one more than the other team, and I'm glad he played well as a dad. But I'm more happy for him that he was a great team guy today. JBD?
I like that nickname, Coach. Thank
There
you.
you go, Brad.
So James Philbin added crucial goals in the game. Can you talk about his impact on the team, please?
Yeah. Philly is, he's the ultimate steady Eddie guy, right? He does not get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's almost like, he's a spitting image of number 40 on our team. And to be honest with you, Justin Sykes, all three of those guys on our first midfield, you wouldn't know when they were upset, and you wouldn't know when they were ecstatic. Like, you could be standing next to them and they could win the lotto, and you wouldn't have any idea, right? They're just one of those steady Eddie guys. And Philly, at times, he made a mistake today where he should have been back on an offsides that cost us a possession, and they scored on it. But he just kicked it into overdrive. He scored a couple of goals. I like the way he redodged today to either get in front of the goal or to move it on and create what we're calling some flow. And I just love having him around. And I think I'm hopeful that he comes back and plays in his 5th year for us next year.
Coach Tierney, Chase Philbin came in, spelled Brian Herbert, 23 faceoffs, 14 ground balls. What can you say about the performance that Chase Patterson put out there at the faceoff X?
Yeah. First, before we talk about Chase, let's just talk about the entire faceoff group. I mean, what those guys did to train this week, knowing that we struggled versus Stony Brook 1 year ago today, facing off out there. And they played great last year. We unfortunately didn't put our best foot forward, but all the credit to them. Last year they gave it to us, and we really put an emphasis on facing off. Knowing that they have the offense that they have, facing off played a huge role in not giving them any extra possessions. So not only facing off, but after the face off, getting the ball to our offense and having our offense play. Sometimes you see that ball, squirt out, and we might have won the face-off, but we're losing the possession, and that's something we're going to continue to work on. Listen, if you have a goalie that gets 16 saves and you're 27 out of 41 at the face-off, you're going to give your team a chance to win. And if the offense isn't playing well, if the defense isn't playing well, at least your goalie is pretty steady, and at least you have a chance to get the ball back after someone scores. We've got to tighten some things up defensively, and and hopefully that will get us a chance to go on a few more runs. We got a little bit of a run, up at Sacred Heart where we banged in, a bunch of goals in the second half, and then I don't know what the longest run today was, because it was. It was one of those fights where everybody just kept punching each other in the face, and we just kept on our feet until the end. JBD.
Hey, Coach, your next game is this upcoming Tuesday, sort of a short turnaround in the sense of you all have been playing like from week to like one game a week.
Right.
How do you expect to clear up certain mistakes within that time frame?
Yeah, tomorrow is just COVID testing and a day off. We've got a couple of guys that need some time. When you start to get some fifth-year seniors, they don't bounce back like a freshman. So, I would imagine that those guys are going to take it easy at this point in time. And then we're going to have to do everything in one day, everything in Monday, and put everything together. So the coaches will get to work tonight. I've asked them to eliminate Stony Brook at this point in time. I know we made some mistakes. Let's not worry about the mistakes we made in Stony Brook right now. Let's watch Wagner. Let's move on. And then after the Wagner game, it looks like we may have a little bit of a break before our next game. Then we'll go back and we'll fix the mistakes of Stony Brook, and we'll fix the mistakes of Wagner. I want to make sure that we give Wagner every ounce and every minute that we have in preparation for Tuesday's game.
Coach, in this press conference, you were wearing a face mask with a special message on it. Do you mind elaborating on that message?
I appreciate you asking, Nick. It's a face mask right here that was dropped off at my house. I wore it in the second game versus Sacred Heart. These initials, Sue Scanio. I personally have dedicated the game to her. She's just a wonderful woman and a friend from Massapequa that lost her battle to cancer. And we've got a lot of Massapequa guys. We've got a lot of people that know who Sue Scanio was, and just a wonderful person. And she was part of this win today. So we appreciate it, and I appreciate you asking.
If there are no more questions, then that concludes today's post-game press conference. Thank you, Coach Tierney.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.